Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. All right, so here we are, and thank goodness I'm I'm on time today, and thank you so much for the people that are here joining me already. I'm just a bit miffed with my camera. I've got my light up very bright. Let me know if you can see me properly, but normally my face is brighter. Have you noticed the background is just a little bit dark for me? But as long as you're seeing me okay, do let me know. Oh, Foggy, thank you so much. Straight out the gate. Thank you so much for your donation. It is much appreciated. All right, so today's show, just to get on with it. Today we're going to be talking about AI, specifically ChatGPT. And then I'm going to take in some other questions as well. So it's not just going to be exclusively about ChatGPT, because as you know, I love to answer your questions. Well, obviously, I'm going to do a little bit of tarot for you and stuff like that. I've got some questions here as well. This main part here is to do with the ChatGPT phenomena. And then the other part is a question about Neptune and weather and stuff like that. And that is Jeannie. Yeah, well, Virginia, but she likes to be called Jeannie. So I wanted to make sure. Thanks for your email, by the way. So I wanted to make sure that I got your question in as well about weather. So just to set the groundwork, let's talk about this. And obviously, as you know, we'll dive into the politics and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's important, isn't it, that we have wider conversations about things. I think there is an awful lot that is going on in the world. Of course, there's not just Duck L'Orange, as dreadful and as awful as he is, but there's a lot of other change going on in the world. And I think in terms of AI, we really do need to be looking at this. This is being discussed quite a lot in the world, and I think it's something that needs to be looked at. I do believe in embracing technology and change. I mean, after all, YouTube is it's technology, isn't it? It's social media, it's technology. I'm here with my camera, my computer. You're driving, joining me, live time, talking, interacting. We love those aspects, don't we, of technology that can bring so many diverse people together. However, and maybe you'll agree, I think there has to be a dividing line. Yeah, there has to be an element where we kind of proceed with a bit more caution. Yeah, you guys will remember. Do you remember that social media was going to solve all of our problems, and we'd be in touch with all of our friends, and it was all going to be bunny rabbits and rainbows and fluffy clouds? I'm sure you'll all remember that. Yeah, years ago now, when we're looking at probably what, 15, 16 years ago. And how we'd all be so much happier and all of this stuff. But when we look at it, when we look at some of the shadow of social media, how's that playing out? Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of click economy and all of this kind of stuff. It's not really been what it's been sold to be, isn't it? And I think the same is true with a lot of these AI models. I'm not against them. I think AI, in terms of being data for solving issues with medical diagnoses, cancer diagnosis, etc. I mean, AI has been proven to be better than the human eye in terms of detecting these things. So I think that's very useful. Or complex genetic disorders, or maybe just really mundane repetitive tasks. I think when ChatGPT and the like is going into this kind of human element where people are talking to ChatGPT for counseling advice, how to do all sorts of manner of tasks, and when they're not able to, then there is kind of like a fallout. So I'm going to say some hellos in the chat. Let's see who's in. You're piling in right now, actually, so thank you so much everyone for joining me. So let's see who's in the chat, and then I'm going to dive in and I'm going to show you a clip of where I saw this video. We'll probably watch maybe 2.5 minutes or something like that together. And then I will link the video in the video description for those that want to learn more. And then we'll debate it. Yeah, we'll discuss. Let me know your thoughts and I'll bring you in and we'll have a good old thorough chinwag about this. And then maybe in the second half of the show, we'll get in with some of the more kind of political questions and stuff like that. Sound good? Yeah. All right. So let's see who's in. Wow, you're all piling in. Let's start at the top. So JW is here saying hello, Hogarth and everyone. We have got Grace is in the house. We've got Patrick is here. Hi, Hoagie and all. We have got how do I say that? KMYO. I'm not. I may have butchered that. Forgive me. When it's these long ones, I have to be like, what are they meaning to say? Foggy is here, of course, and thank you again for your donation. We got Connie in the house. Kathy is here. Oh, happy day, she says. Thank you. We've got Brenda. Who else is here? We have Honey Rose, Apoca 3. Apoca 3. Lovely. Hi, beautiful. Coming to you from beautiful coasted redwoods in Northern California. Oh, that sounds beautiful. I do miss the States. Yeah, I would love to come visit, but as you know, I mean, look what's happening to the tourist. Yeah, they, you get frisked and probed and searched and flung in cells and all of that kind of stuff. And I would love to see the redwoods in California. Redwoods are some of my favorite trees. We've got Libby Webb is here from New Mexico. Lovely. As you guys know, I was there last year teaching my retreat. And for those that don't know, bear with me, you're going to be hearing it in virtually every video. But of course, as you guys know, I'm hosting a retreat in November in Ibiza. 7th to the 10th of November. Meet lots of like-minded people, god and goddess themes, and learning everything all about astrology and stuff like that. And I've started a new series, actually going to be looking at planet Jupiter and how Jupiter is the husband, in a person's chart, or the significant others. And I'm just starting that on TikTok. But I'll be sharing the shorts here on YouTube so you can see those. I think I did the first one today. Let's see here, Foggy again, and then yes, Foggy here, and Vicky. So you're all in. All right. And people saying looks fine, lighting is good. Good to know. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the clip with you from this YouTuber. I'll share the screen. I've forgotten her name, but we're going to see her YouTube title. And the first thing that it starts, it's not her, it's just a young woman talking about her TikTok addiction. And she gives various clips and citations. So I think 2.5 minutes should be enough to give us a flavor. And then we can go back in, and we can always go back and have another look. All right, so let's do the share screen. And then, good. Audio tab is on. All right, let's go for this. Here we go. Right, I'm gonna press play.
I've developed an addiction to AI. My AI is actually on my best friends list.
If you're anything like me, you use ChatGPT for everything. ChatGPT is my counselor, my therapist, my best friend. It knows all my secrets.
Story time on how I almost got kicked out of the University of Michigan my freshman year for using ChatGPT.
Okay, so ChatGPT is down, but we do not panic.
You're literally one AI agent away from making 10K a month.
The most gut-wrenching feeling in the world is when the ChatGPT chat that you've been using for about 6 months starts referencing things that don't exist. It must be what it feels like to notice for the first time that a loved one has dementia or something.
Everyone's talking about how AI is ruining YouTube, but I believe AI is ruining something much worse, our own ability to think. ChatGPT has went down several times this year, and every time it goes down, it truly exposes people who are over-reliant on the AI. People are genuinely losing their minds because they now can't get any of their work done, they can't cheat on their assignments, and apparently they can't even bake a cake.
ChatGPT is down, and I don't know about anyone else, but I have come to the conclusion that I can't use my own brain anymore. Because, for example, right now I want to bake a cake, and normally I ask ChatGPT, how do you make a carrot cake? I can't simply Google something anymore. Like, I need a step-by-step breakdown from my best friend, who is also a robot. And now, it's like he's passed away. So, That's me for the day. I'll go back to bed.
If we as a society are already this dependent on ChatGPT and can't be bothered to Google something the moment the servers go down, we as a society are baked, and not in the fun way. Cookbooks, Google, I think even the flour bag has a recipe on it, or just call your grandmother. I'm sure she has a recipe and she would love to hear from you. And of course, every time ChatGPT goes down, everybody goes to Reddit to let everybody else know what they already know is that the servers are down. The caption says, when ChatGPT tells you Australians don't need a visa to enter Chile, but it's wrong and too late now.
Ooh.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about
I'll give her an ad.
Base 44, a complete.
People are now relying on ChatGPT for travel information, which, as we know, gets updated. It's not always the same. ChatGPT, of course, can not only have outdated information, it can also hallucinate. This is fascinating to me because this was such a simple Google search, but it's like people don't want to Google anything now. They don't want to search out information themselves. They just want answers given to them automatically, regardless if it's true or not.
Right. So here, but I think the important thing to understand is this, yeah, that this citation here that she's, let's do.
ChatGPT, of course, can not only have outdated.
Right. So here, what she cited, OpenAI, April 16th, 2025. So this is a very recent citation, and you can see here hallucination evaluations, and it's, you know, giving the rate here, but basically answered correctly 49% of the time, hallucinated 51% of the time. I'd actually got that wrong in my head, in my mind. So it, you know, it's basically 50-50. Let me just stop the share there. So in terms of reliability, now is it necessarily hallucinating every single time? I wouldn't be sure, because I don't use ChatGPT. I prefer to go to Google. I prefer, you know, books. Yeah, you know, as you know, write books and stuff like that. I prefer to, if I can't remember something about, oh, what was it? What was I wanted to, the clarifications or whatever, I go to my own book, or I, you know, I've got tons of books around me, or I go online and I try and find those more authentic sources. You'll notice, have you guys noticed that when you use Google now, it comes up with an AI feature, which can be handy. But I think one of the big questions is that if we think of how much, you know, ChatGPT is now a multi-billion-dollar company, and if it has got a kind of a hallucination rate of 51%, now, of course, we don't know if that's gamed out across the whole thing, but let's just say, look, if that is happening and this software is hallucinating, then why is it worth billions and billions and billions? Like, how is that a reliable source to use? Yeah. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that clip. We can always go back to it, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of a flavor. What was her channel called again? Oh gosh, it just went out of my mind. 1 second. Let me just see here. Her channel is called. What's her channel called? She's called Vanessa Wingard. So just wanted to give a credit there. It's always good to give a credit when you sample, you know, other content creators' work. I just feel that's a good thing. It doesn't always happen. Trust me, I know. Let's see. Someone's saying here. So Tammy's saying, everyone, hello to everyone. Blessings to all. I rarely get on Facebook and don't even have any other social media accounts. Yeah, some people are just like, nah, I don't want any of it. What's this? So L Crisp is saying, hey everyone, and Hoagie, they failed to rein in the internet, so I doubt if they protect us from AI taking jobs. Well, indeed, I mean, that's already happening. It's going underreported in the mainstream media, underreported, but the figures are there. So there is an extraordinary amount of particularly jobs in tech where, you know, people are losing their jobs to AI. So let's see here. Scott is saying, I like technology to a point, but not to the point of cutting myself from talking to people in person. And, you know, if we think of, because if we think of our generation, yeah, and in terms of, and what I mean by that is, now I know our age ranges are quite diverse, and I know that my audience in general is a bit more mature. Quite a few of you are baby boomers and maybe even silent generation, and then through to sort of like generation, you know, X, which is what I'm part of, and so on, and maybe a little bit younger. But the point is, when I say our generation, and I would say particularly my generation was probably one of the last generations that grew up without internet. So of course, when I was a kid, when I was at school, there were no mobile phones, there were no tablets, there were no smartphones, of course. There were barely any computers. I mean, computers were a very novel thing. I mean, I remember them kind of grayish looking, clunky. Do you remember with these floppy disks and stuff like that? I remember when internet started up, or when it's really started to get popular, maybe around about 1995, something like that. And I remember, like, I mean, I've still got like a graveyard of like my old phones. Do you remember you used to play like Worm or Tetris? Do you remember how exciting Tetris was to play on your phone? All of this stuff, and like, oh, what ringtone do you have, and all of this stuff. I even remember back then, I could remember 10 people's mobile phone numbers off by heart, like that. Like that. Can't do it now. I can remember my own number. I cannot tell you the mobile phone number of my nearest and dearest. Wouldn't have a clue, because it's like it atrophies, doesn't it? That part of the brain, it just starts going to sleep. As they say in nature, use it or lose it. Yeah. So let's just see here what people saying. Appreciate you, Hogarth. Keep doing what you do. Coming from Iowa, we are flooding a little. Not bad yet. Oh, are you having some floods as well? Gosh, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about Neptune. I'll show you some charts. Naz has come in. Huggy in the house. Whoop whoop. Thank you so much for joining me. Grand Madame Tarot. Ooh, nice to see you. Thanks so much. Hello, Hogarth and chat. And let's see here. Oh, we got South Carolina. Sherry's here. Thank you so much. Oh, Dallas, Texas is here. Lavanga. So nice to see you. Actually, I have quite a few Texans. So you know, I assume you're probably a blue dot in the Red Sea. But you know, it's nice to see people from all sorts of different states. Oh, thank you, Corolla has said, I've ordered your book and look forward to learning about Neo-Vedic astrology. I think you'll really enjoy it. So that is given the context here. So let me know in the comments. Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for your kind donation. Let me know in the comments, what is your relationship with ChatGPT? Do you guys use it? I mean, I don't use it at all, and that's not a judgment. I'm just like, no, I'd rather not. People I work with and collaborate, you know, you use a bit of ChatGPT, but what's your relationship with it? Do you use it? Do you use it to solve problems, help you cook, etc., stuff like that? Shari. Oh, Shari. My God, we're supposed. First of all, apologies, because we were supposed to collaborate, wasn't it, last year or something, and it just went blip, delete. My brain just went absolutely empty. And you've got a wonderful, look at your oh my God, this, what an incredible image. Was that a little bit AI assisted or something like that? It's gorgeous. And Shari's saying, well, damn, I finally caught you live. So nice to see you here. Thank you so much, Shari, for joining me. And Elizabeth is here as well. So, and Patricia is here too. Just give a little shout out to Patricia Franzino. Thanks so much, my moderator. So yeah, what have your experiences been with it? Where do you think this is going? So let's read out, I'm gonna read you out the question here, and then I'm gonna read you a bit here from Betty. And I think it's a really good point. So Amy, what's that? That's Amy Mace. Yeah, Amy Mace. Because you see here, it's all one long, so I have to kind of like, you know, use my brain to kind of see where the natural break is. So this was in response to my call for questions. She said, this is one of my fears about AI, that we'll lose our critical thinking skills. Do you think that long form reading will trend downwards as ChatGPT becomes more common? I think already just with that little clip, and we'll go back into it actually. I think we should look a bit more at that clip because there's some quite juicy citations she's got in there, but I can't remember exactly where they are. And then Betty replied to me. Hello Betty, she was part of my New Mexico retreat last year. Fabulous lady. So she says, sadly, far too many have no critical thinking skills. I'm just reading from this bit here. Yeah. Have no critical thinking skills generationally. They stopped emphasizing critical thinking decades ago to the point that it's barely an afterthought. If parents are not stressing the importance and setting the example in the home, then no wonder MAGA gained the momentum. This is a very good point. As it is clear, there is no critical thinking going on in that segment of the population, in my honest opinion, she says. Now, the weather is changing a bit in MAGA. Yeah, the weather is changing a little bit. We'll see if they'll clip back into line, but these Epstein, revelations seem to be sticking, at least for now. AI needs to be brought into the main incrementally, and sadly, as the tech trends seem to more and more dump something not thoroughly tested into the public arena and figure people will let them know if something isn't working well. Again, there's not much chance of that without strong critical thinking skills. So do you see here, it's when we think about it, when we think about what is one of the most important things, isn't it, about being a human being? Yeah, what makes us human? One of our most defining characteristics, of course, as human beings is our ability to think, and particularly to think critically. We know they're all forms of intelligence, on planet Earth. Dolphins are incredibly intelligent, all of these different kind of things. But the human mind, it can do remarkable things. And just seeing, we're going to go back in and look at some more clips, but just seeing these people just kind of give up their critical thinking so easily, for me, I do find a bit disturbing. So let's bring you in a bit more here. So Connie B says, I'm a middle school teacher. I can detect ChatGPT or AI in their work. They just want to play. Yeah. And you'll like this clip coming up, Connie. I'm not sure where she's dropped it in, but she said professors are now trying to catch out ChatGPT people by dropping in random things, and they're not even noticing. Yeah. L. Chris says, anyone heard of Robert Grant's The Architect? Oh, that rings a bell. Could you divulge for us get some more detail? Jennifer says, is this for real? What do you mean, the clips? Yes. KN said, AI is simply collating and spewing back out whatever people put out. Yeah, that is a very good point. Here, this is really a good point. Naz says, people need to learn how to actually live life again, not get caught up in reading others' braggart of lies, exactly like Facebook. Never looked at it, never need it in my life. Yeah, that's a good point. And then Connie B adds, I have to sit with them individually and walk them through how to think. Wow, that is, yeah, that is worrying, isn't it? Isn't it? And then Ashley says, reminds me of when Wikipedia became available. We were just taught to research. We were just taught to research properly, like anything else. ChatGPT should be a resource, not an end all and be all, indeed. So let's, oh, here. Goldkeeper says, it's getting to the point that I can't even find real content producers here on YouTube anymore. So sick of the fake voices. They sound like shit. Yeah, it's true. So to give you an update, YouTube apparently is starting to crack down on these AI channels. So apparently what they're doing, like a lot of these content creators, what they're doing is they're going to places like Reddit. They are scanning the chat. They get ChatGPT to scan the chat and then essentially make up a narrative and a story, drop in pictures with this AI voiceovers. And they've been getting like hundreds of thousands of views, which is so sad, isn't it? That people would prefer this very generic kind of like stuff. And now YouTube is starting to put a stop to it because, of course, it cheapens everything. Like, it takes effort to put on a show, and it should take effort. Look, you see here, I've come up, with the subject matter. You're all here in the chat. We're having a proper debate. This is real content, human to human content, talking about something important. But of course, I need to take my time out of my day. And you guys, thank you, have taken your time out of your day to be here. But we're all having a shared experience together. AI is just completely synthetic. There is what is the exchange, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have value, but what is the exchange? What is the nutrition? We're all nourishing each other here, aren't we? I'm putting your comments up as I'm reading out your comments. Everyone else is getting to see that. I'm getting that feedback. That's making me think, making the audience think. Do you see how we're all kind of nourishing each other with these debates, this discourse? And you just got some people that just don't even want to do that. Patricia's saying this addiction is exhausting those involved in it. Yes, yeah. And then let's see here. Libby says, yes, but I'm not on it every day. And of course, and I want people to know, I don't want you to feel judged for using like ChatGPT, etc. and stuff like that. I want to see where you are. I know it's a useful resource, but I'm just trying to see what's your relationship with it. I mean, I think I'm really quite unusual in that I don't use it at all. I don't feel the need to. Of course, some things would be easier, but just because it's easier doesn't mean it's better. In fact, usually it isn't. So if we look here, Raymond says AI equals absolute insanity. And then Scott says it's troubling that I don't even use ChatGPT. And then Naz says there's your clue. Once the money is involved, it's 100% corrupt. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a really good point. Let's just see here. Cameron says 50-50 is for travel, not the whole thing. Travel on a good day. Okay, it's 50-50. All right. Okay, so that gives a little bit of context. Let's watch a little bit more. Oh, 1 second. Let's just quickly get this one here. M Dizzy Lizzy says, hi, Hogarth. Elon Musk's GROK AI has just signed a 200 million contract with the Pentagon. No! This seems absurd since last week he reprogrammed GROK to give Nazi propaganda. Will this get any blowback? Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, let's my goodness. All right, well, what I'll do is I'll read on that after. Let's go back to the clip or to that channel, and let's watch a little bit more just to give you a little bit more content, and let's see what else comes up. Obviously we're not going to watch the whole thing. This is like it's like a 13-minute video, but let's just see what else is here. Yes. Oh yeah, you got to see this. You got to see this. I've just remembered.
Information, it can also hallucinate. This is fascinating to me because this was such a simple Google search, but it's like people don't want to Google anything now. They don't want to search out information themselves. They just want answers given to them automatically, regardless if it's true or not. I was recently thinking about all the know-it-alls in the world, right? I think we all know someone who kind of just says things and you're like, where did you get that from? And I don't know where they get it from. They just pull it out of thin air, but they say it confidently because they themselves believe it, and now they're trying to pass it on as truth.
Last night, I went out with friends, and one of my friends brought a friend. We were talking about space, and I said, fun fact, the size of Neptune's storms are so large they could eat Earth. And then little Tagalong speaks up and he goes, oh, that's not true, bro. That's not true. And I'm like, okay. So I take out my phone, I go to NASA's official website, and I show him with proof that it is true. And he goes, no. He takes out his phone, opens ChatGPT, and says, yo, Chat, is this real? You're using an AI model to fact check NASA.
Why use brain when you have ChatGPT? It's truly amazing to me that people are doubting official sources of truth.
So if we see here, in 1989, a large oval-shaped storm in Neptune's southern hemisphere, dubbed the Great Dark Spot, was large enough to contain the entire Earth. That storm has since disappeared, but new ones have appeared on different parts of the planet. We're going to be talking about Neptune because this is part of what my blog was about. I just released a blog recently. I need to blog more often. It's in the link in the video description. So if you want to read that blog and you're not on my mailing list, then have a read on that blog. But soon my blog will be coming from my new channel. But Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions, the unreal appearing real. And we really are in these times where, now, don't get me wrong, Neptune is a wonderful planet. And I'm not going to cuss out Neptune because I know his power. I've experienced it, for myself. But a lot of people getting lost in the fantasy as well of ChatGPT and the ease that it has, but people also switching off their brains. So we need to talk about Neptune, and I'm going to be talking about Neptune for the storms. Let's watch a bit more and then we'll click off.
Such as NASA and opting for ChatGPT.
So here, OpenAI admits that its new model still hallucinates more than a third of the time. So this is OpenAI, the actual creators of ChatGPT. Why is a company whose products can't tell the truth valued at hundreds of billions of dollars? It's a fair point. And this is from, she's used the source here, Pants on Fire, March 9th. March 1st.
As their source of truth. People are now using AI to cheat during their interviews.
You're leading an army of ants in a battle against grasshoppers. What's your first strategic move?
I think my first strategic move would be to assess the terrain and identify any natural advantages that we can leverage, such as narrow paths or elevated areas.
So you can see the AI has been listening to the conversation and it just outputs the answer and she's kind of reading it all. I understand, okay? I understand the interviewing process, job hunting. I get it. It sucks. I think imposter syndrome is something we have all struggled with, at least at some point in our careers. And if you can't answer the questions in an interview, I don't know. I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure. I know.
Right. So I'll just stop the share there and let's get back to you. There. So you can see she showed a real world example of someone who has shared on their own social media feed how they are using ChatGPT in real time to cheat on their job interview. The host goes on to say how professors are catching out their students who are using ChatGPT for the answers and stuff, and they throw in like these funky things. So like there's this thing like in part of the answer they can get ChatGPT to say something about Dua Lipa, who's a pop star, singing artist, which is completely out of context. But when they see that in there, then they know that the response has been produced by AI. and they can catch the student out, because they said the people now aren't even reading the prompts, let alone the thing that ChatGPT says. When it actually gives them the answer, they're not even reading the answer. They're just submitting the paper as their own. Oh, do you see? This is not good. Yeah, this is not good. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Let's go down, dig down a bit more. Oh yes, I remember that quote. Raymond said, most of the trouble in the world is caused by people wanting to be important. Yeah. Rita says, can I Google something? The AI definition comes up first. I don't always believe it, so I look further. Yeah, that's a really good point. We've got light vocation is here. Here we go. Oh, Raymond says, leadership is not the power to command, but the courage to serve. Plato. Thanks for that. Elcriff says, latchkey kids. Yes, yeah, I think I'm part of that generation. Oh, we've got Oxford Cat Gen X as well. Yay. If I'd been born a few months later, I would have been a millennial, but you know, I'm happy to be proud to be part of Gen X. And then Linda L says, sometimes the Google AI assisted comes up with uncanny answers. Yes. And then I'm on Facebook all the time, and when I find something, it just does not feel right, I Google it. Yeah. Oh, we got another Gen X here as well. Excellent. The Red Hat Chat Cat. Brilliant. And then, oh, here we are. So Chantel Charlemagne says, I hate to admit it, but I love ChatGPT. After refusing to use it, it has been a real help to a dyslexic. Now, actually, thank you so much, actually, Chantel, for saying that, because I think there is a good point where if you are, I've got a friend of mine who's neurodivergent, or neurodiverse, as it were, and I think it can be very useful for people that are, you know, dyslexic, you know, struggling to put sentences together and stuff like that. And of course, that's absolutely, you know, valid, and that's been a great assistance to people. But I think when, as you could see with the real-time example there, I think when people are using ChatGPT to answer questions on a live interview, or to write their papers or cheat their homework and stuff like that, I don't think that is good, because ultimately, like she was saying, a person is just setting themselves up to fail, because they're relying on the artificial intelligence to give them or to put across a perception that they're maybe more qualified for a job than they really are. And then, of course, when they actually start doing that said job and they fall well below the standard, you know, that's really a problem, isn't it? And then you can, you know, end up losing your job effectively, or just be incredibly stressed because there's this imposter syndrome. Yeah. Let's just see here. Foggy says, I remember a friend teaching me the basics of COBOL in the 70s. I'm no code now, though. Yes, that's an old school one, isn't it? And then DK says, I'm 61, and when I first started working, they had typewriters. Yeah. God, my mum used to have a typewriter. I used to love playing, you know, with the ribbon and the ink, and it was fascinating. Layla G says, hey, Hoagie, happy to see you today. Thank you for joining me. Much appreciated. Oh, yeah. And then Libby Webb says, I'm a boomer. And she quotes, come in when the street lights are on. Yeah. Or I used to, my mum used to say, come back before sunset. I mean, if you just think about that now, I mean, in the world that we live in, that Rita's saying, yes, I'm a boomer. Scott, 80s kid, and I'm 50. 80s kid. And then let's put this here. Yes, before tech, everything was efficient, effective, and working well. After tech, everything is messed up, inefficient, and doesn't work because incredulous. Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, you know, because it's a bit of an illusion, isn't it? It's a bit of an illusion where we're taught to believe that that tech is going to make everything better, everything more efficient, everything faster. We're never going to have to lift a finger. When I was talking like to people at that event I attended recently, and I was talking to them about ChatGPT, and I said, yeah, but what about when it comes to everybody's jobs? Like, what are people going to do? Oh no, you know, they'll be creative. They're going to do this and that, and people will write poetry and people will create artwork. No, they won't. No, they won't. That is not what's going to happen. People are just going to be, they're not going to have any, where's going to be the structure to the life? You know, work, even a crap job that we don't like, it still has a positive benefit in the sense of it gives structure to the day. It gives purpose. It gives a sense of belonging. You meet other people at work, even if some of them are annoying. You know, it provides context, shape, and structure to one's day. Even if you don't like your job, the complaining about the job is still so much part of a society. If you just think in terms of sitcoms, movies, almost all forms of, you know, entertainment, comedy sketches, for example, how many of those are based around the context of work? Yeah. It's such an important and integral part of life. We've lost count of how many kind of fictional plot lines start with a guy or a girl who hates their job and wants to get out of it. Yeah, and then that becomes a big catalyst for the whole story. Imagine if 80 or 90% of us don't have jobs. It would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? It would just be ridiculous. So let's see here. Let's see here. Rita says, when I grew up, it was no computers, no spell check, nothing. And then in the 80s, we had AOL dial-up. Yeah, yeah. And then Ashley's saying you could probably analyze someone's psyche better than someone who had all the cell phone, then all the phone numbers memorized. We didn't have the understanding of such, probably a more shallow use of memory historically. Yeah. And what she was going on to say is she's did some citations, and she said, when you're using Google, you're stumbling across other things and you're extracting more information. But if it's just from ChatGPT, they say the retention is not as high. So you see, it's really interesting. Oh, look, here we are. Oh, this is good. So, but again, it's good to see users as well. Connie B says, I use ChatGPT to give me suggestions for proofreading. So here we are. And then KN is saying hi from Australia. Hello, from down under. Hi from Australia. I have no relationship with ChatGPT. All right. So, oh, but here we got some people that love it as well. So look, all are welcome. This is not judgment. Yeah, we're just discussing things. So BB Buzz says, I totally love ChatGPT. And then Darlene says, I'm not using it yet. My husband does. And then also we got some people here like Dragon Rising saying, I use AI a lot. So let me know your, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel it contributes more to your life, or do you feel that you're relying on it too much, like some of those examples that were given? Yeah, let me know. Okay, let's talk a little bit, because the time is flying already. Let's talk a little bit about weather. Yeah, so I want to make sure that I answer Jeannie's question. So yeah, just reading up here. You can see it's printed this way, and then I didn't want to waste paper, so I turned the paper around and printed it the other way. So Virginia, Jeannie says, P.S. I posted, because she sent me another email, so I'll just print it off the bottom bit. I posted a question for Hergelish, which was never addressed. Could you answer it somehow? It has to do with Neptune and this water horror, she says, we are experiencing. She says, I live 1 hour away from Kerrville in San Antonio, Texas. So, of course, Kerr County is where the horrific floods have been happening. And, of course, they're still continuing, from what I understand. So the question is, what is the outlook for hurricanes in the Atlantic and Caribbean in August and September? And any predictions regarding the big one, tsunami/earthquake in the Pacific Northwest? And I put a note underneath here saying, the hurricane season is likely to be strong this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do share screen again, and we're just going to look briefly at charts. Not going to do too long. And then let's get, here we are. And then let's just do file, new birth chart. And I'm just going to put here today. Let's just put here, you said Pacific Northwest. So let's do Oregon. Oh, no, that's not good. Yeah, here we are, Oregon, Washington. Doesn't matter too much, but just to give some context. All right, so this is the chart for now. Yeah, this is where the planets are right now. So what I want you to look at is this. Yeah, so if you see up here in Pisces, in many ways you can ignore the house because it's not relevant to, unless a person, obviously someone being born right now, this would be their chart. Anyway, the point is, what I want you to focus on is up here, Pisces. Yeah, at the moment you can see the moon is here, Ceres is here, Neptune and Saturn. The moon is going to move out in a day or two. It only spends 2.5 days in each sign, or about a day in each nakshatra. Yeah, each nakshatra. So the nakshatras are these smaller clusters of stars within the star signs, which each have their own deity, sub-ruling planet, etc. Many of you will be familiar with this who've read my book, etc. Anyway, the point is this. Neptune is the god of the sea, of the oceans, of the waters, any kind of body of water, lakes, seas, oceans, rivers, waterfalls, fountains, all of this kind of stuff. In Europe, Neptune with his trident is scattered everywhere in public fountains and stuff like that. You will see Neptune everywhere. Yeah, because he is, you know, he is the god of the sea, of the vast oceans. He also deals with gases. He also deals with liquids of all kinds. He also deals with pharmaceuticals. This is what I found. Very much Neptune can deal with pharmaceuticals. He also deals with any chemical or substance that can take us out of our ordinary consciousness. This is why Neptune also deals with illusions and delusions. Now, here, here, Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces. Yeah, Pisces, which he currently is in. You can see he's retrograde at the moment, 7 degrees 55 minutes. Pisces, the original ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. So Jupiter and Neptune are both gas giants. So even Jupiter has this quality as well of sometimes illusion and delusion, often by being too optimistic or not being realistic about things. So imagine if you've got the god of the sea, whenever planets are in their own signs, the signs of friends, the signs of their friends, but particularly when they're in their own signs or exalted, they become very, very powerful. Yeah, or in the signs of their friends. So Neptune here is technically in his own sign. He moved into sidereal Pisces around the 20th of February 2023. Yeah. So we're now, of course, 16th of July 2025. Yeah, at the time that we're doing this. So yeah, so it's been over 2 years now. But Neptune can also deal with storms and stuff like that. And I said when Neptune goes into sidereal Pisces, we're going to be dealing a lot with very heavy, wet weather. Yeah, I said there's going to be lots of flooding. So there's been all sorts of flooding incidents everywhere. Quite soon after Neptune moved into sidereal Pisces, there were those huge floods in Africa. I don't know if you guys remember that. There were places in Australia where lakes were reborn. They had so much rain. And of course, we've been having the storms and the floods, and of course, the recent tragedies, of course, in Texas. Yeah. Saturn is here. Now, Saturn is the planet of reality. Yeah. Neptune can deal with illusions and delusions. And I said, when Saturn continues to progress through sidereal Pisces, which it started on the 29th of March, 2025, I said that's when a lot of illusions and delusions would be destroyed. Yeah, so you can see here, look at the degree. Saturn is at 7 degrees 42 minutes, and Neptune is at 7 degrees 55 minutes. They're at pretty much exactly the same degree. I think it's in early February they will come down to the exact degree, but they really are on top of each other. Neptune is about dissolving things. Saturn is about structure, infrastructure, government. So we can literally see like a breakdown in what? Government, or things like rules, regulations, guardrails. Saturn is the guardrails. He's the conservative planet. We think of that big, beautiful bill. Look how many guardrails have been dismantled, you know, on that. So we're seeing a lot of unruliness. We've also got the illusion and delusion. Netanyahu in nominating Trump for the Peace Prize. Ridiculous. But we're also seeing reality come in, and this is also starting to happen with some of the MAGA base. Neptune deals with scandals as well, things that are hidden. It does have positives, you know, beauty and film, photography, music scores, but it can also deal with scandals and secrets, illicit goings on. Saturn is the planet of reality. Now, it seems at last, MAGA, yeah, are having some reality checks. However, this is contributing a lot to the weather in many ways. If we think it's real tragedy for these people that are lost, but do you see how these floods, Neptune, and the response to these floods are what? Giving the reality check, Saturn, where people are like, what is going on? Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing there, because I don't want it to be completely dominated by just charts and stuff. But do you see where I'm going? And I think this kind of reality check is something that I've been thinking about a lot as well. Like, you know, looking at the impact of technology on people's lives and how this stuff works. But at the same time, the reality check is also good from the perspective that people really do have to wake up, particularly MAGA with this Epstein stuff. Yeah, with the Epstein. They're late to the part. I mean, really? Is this really a shock? Like, anyone with half, you know, one eye and half a brain over the last 30 years is, you know, just knows that they were very strong friends, and that Trump was at all sorts of parties and stuff with Epstein. Let's just see here. Martha is saying high winds and huge clouds over southern Arizona yesterday, but not a drop of rain. Oh, how interesting. And Shari is here giving some links. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you, Shari. Yes, so Voices from the Swamp. That's here. That's yeah, that's all good. What's it, Paula Brett? Let's see here. Paula says, recently I used ChatGPT for the first time. I asked for a definition of terrorist. It described someone perfectly. Oh, I wonder who that was. Someone who's got a bit of dodgy makeup, perhaps. Let's see here. Replying to Oxford Cat, yeah, and denial. I guess because they won't be spared living underground, they think they will be, but they're not. I think that is referring to billionaires. The billionaires in the big beautiful bill not going to be as great as they think. Yeah. And then someone's saying, anybody noticed the train last night? The water was pouring down on the one train. Oh, that's interesting. So anyway, so here we see, in terms of AI and stuff like that, that yes, some people think it's going a little bit too far, but people also use it as well as a tool. So and I'm not wanting people to think that it's not useful. It clearly it is, but I think there needs to be a balance. And I think us as a more mature audience, so we say, let's say that our relationship with technology is going to be different to someone who is 5, 6, 7, you know, any teenager, for example. All they've known is basically anyone born in the mid-90s. All they have known is internet and technology, and then the younger they are is even more. And yeah, so it's just, yeah. And someone's saying, great links, thank you. So a lot going on. All right, so someone's saying, Martha, nothing yet from monsoon season in my part of Arizona. And then, yeah, people are talking about the weather and stuff like that. And let's see here. And then, oh yeah, let's read on this question here. Hi, Hogarth. Elon Musk GROK has just signed, yeah, a 200 million contract with the Pentagon. This seems absurd since last week the program GROK gave, he reprogrammed GROK to give Nazi propaganda. Will this get any blowback? Let's take a look at that. Let's pull some cards on that. How about this will be a question. And then let's see. Let's see how it goes. Will Elon? I mean, but it just shows you the corruption, yeah. I mean, how on earth is GROK getting contracts with the Pentagon? I mean, it's not even real. Oh. It's a very strange world, isn't it? We live in extraordinary times. Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Let's have that card as the symbolizer for the reading. So let's just see. GROK. What's going on with GROK? What's the energy of GROK in the Pentagon? What's their intentions? Yeah. What's the motivation for GROK in the Pentagon? What's that really about? Oh, this is so typical. Elon has shown up, of course. Of course he has. This is really interesting. All right. So we put here, the card that fell out was the Six of Swords, which is about moving to smoother waters. So let's just say this is Elon's way to try and navigate, further cement himself with government contracts and all of that kind of stuff. But also as well, think of all of the data that GROK is collecting on all of the users on X and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, he's already sold off a lot of that information that he's raided from the government agencies. So I think the whole thing with GROK is just to add even more to that database that they're trying not to talk about. Yeah. That's got data on all Americans. Now, if we look here, this is interesting. We get the King of Cups that comes up. Now, this used to be my Biden card. It was the Biden card for many people, but this is often talking about democracy. Many of us readers associate the King of Cups with democracy now. So this is showing that democracy here is a factor. Yeah, so we've got GROK that has analyzed all of X and is now effectively going to be working for the Pentagon. And then we've got the card here talking about democracy. So I think this is about how they can maybe potentially influence elections. That's how it's coming to me. Now, in the obstacle position, now normally if the second card is positive and the first card is positive, it's reinforcing. But I'm seeing this as a bit of an obstacle because looky here. We get the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card that talks about, like you see here, this is a very wealthy person, yeah? This is the lady that has everything that she needs. You see all the coins and pentacles. She's doing so well. She's even got a falcon. This is, I think, is talking about the billionaires, yeah, the elite class, yeah. The shadow of this card is elitism, yeah. So the elites are in opposition to what? Democracy, yeah. Wow. Look at the middle. In the middle of the 5-card reading, who do we have? The Magician. And as you guys know, this is my card for who? Elon Musk. Even looks like him. Yeah. So we can see here, this is obviously Elon Musk, who is also looking to line his pockets as well. But this is also to do with democracy. And of course, let's cast our minds back. It's not too long ago that he announced he wants to create this America First party. We'll see how long that lasts here until he gets bored with the realities of that. but he's here. Yeah, so he's key. If we look here, we have the Sword of Truth here. We got the Ace. Yeah, Ace of Swords. This card, so it is a kind of a positive card in the sense of it's reinforcing, but is a yes. So in many ways, it is Elon working on this, using his money, yeah, to potentially influence democracy. Yes, yeah, with that 9 of Pentacles. Yes. It also means as well, but this can also act as a literal sword in some ways. So he's going to be trying to use it as a tool. Yeah. This GROK stuff is going to be applied in all sorts of practical ways. Yeah. And we'll see the truth of that soon. But the outcome card is, look, it is the 9 of Cups, which is the smug merchant. So this is, again, this can also be talking about the billionaire class, but this is also talking about Elon. So this is really about Elon and him kind of getting more power and influence. And I think he wants to kind of go around, of course, Trump, Duck L'Orange, doesn't he? So it's a bit concerning, that, isn't it? But these are the times that we're in. And of course, these technologies can be applied in all different ways. It's like electricity, isn't it? If you think of electricity, oh, thank you so much. Island Breeze. I think, yeah. Island Breeze is how you say that. Thank you so much for your kind donation. I hope you guys found that interesting. That is the hours gone in an absolute flash. Thanks for joining me in the debate. Thank you so much as well for your donations. If you'd like to read my blog, it's linked below, but the next blog is going to come from my new website. And of course, if you'd like to join me on the retreat in Ibiza in November, the link is also in the video description below. And yeah, we'll leave it there for now. You're going to see me, of course, back tomorrow. Oh, things are going to be changing as well on the midweek show, because like we had some other guests on recently and the feedback was so positive, and so many of you said that you'd love to see, you know, Johnny back and Dave of Tarot by the Bay, David, and then we've got Dave Moonrider, who's going to be joining me on the show as well. But will be like, it'd be like a bit like a rotation. Yeah, be a bit like a rotation. So the ladies will still be there, but they'll get 1 week off in the month where they can kind of rest a bit, have a breather, and just do other stuff that they might want to do. But of course, I will be your host as always. I will leave it there. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me. I hope you found that interesting. Let me go back to the live chat, because there's often very, very interesting comments that come in at the end. What's this here? Oxocat said, I think Mr. Smart Car is blackmailing 45. Yeah, why else would he state Epstein files on X? Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, what oh, thank you, Sharon. She's saying 632 in the chat, 283 thumbs up. So please help the channel. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you. Oh, that's very kind of you. So yeah, please do a thumbs up and share, of course, all of that kind of stuff. Let's just see here. What else is in the chat? Ah, yes. Sherry says, voice of the soul. I will email you about collab soon. Yes, please do. Forgive me for I was just getting so many emails. I was just swamped, and I was going through I was just having a bit of time difficult time dealing with emails, but I think I'm over it now, thank goodness. So don't worry, you'll definitely get a reply. Yeah, and then Rita says, I thought him and Cheeto Taco weren't talking. What happened? They're still not really talking, but of course Elon wants those contracts because, you know, it's not, Pentagon is kind of separate. It's its own entity, and of course they've not done a proper audit for what, 10 years, so they're hardly legit, aren't they? But anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone, and you will see me tomorrow. I'm gonna advertise for questions now, so after this show, check out my community page, and I will ask you for the questions for Hogelish for tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, because today is Tuesday. All right, thank you, everyone. Oh, That's scandalous. Angela says, please use AI instead of the bard. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. I'll have a think about it. I'll have a think about it. And then someone here says, L Crisp says, love this, everyone. Be well. And thanks, Hoagie. Thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Big love for now. Bye-bye. All right. See you soon.